Hey, so pretty much all the economic indicators this week told us that the Fed should move forward with cutting interest rates. But the Bureau of Labor Statistics came along and went completely against the grain. Shocking. Hey, so welcome to Mortgage Minutes with Mitch. I am Mitch Jenkins, Senior Loan Officer with Your Home Financial. So a ton of economic news came out this week, and let's start with the Fed's favorite measure of inflation, personal consumption expenditure. So PCE came in pretty much flat for the month. Now that's good news normally for inflation and the Fed's target, which is 2% inflation. So the headline inflation came all the way down from 2.7 to 2.3. It's the lowest that number's been in a while. That's year over year. Now the core inflation, that also came down from 3% down to 2.6%. So both readings were phenomenal, meaningful progress towards the Fed's target of 2%. However, the excitement was a little bit muted because that was back in March before the tariffs took effect in April. So what normally would have really had a huge impact on mortgage rates was a little bit muted. So next up we had the first reading for the first quarter of GDP for 2025. Came in negative. It was negative 0.3%. So remember, there's 3 total readings before they finalize it, but the first one was negative 0.3%. So that's the first time it's been negative since the first quarter of 2022 in the midst of Biden's term. And that brings us to the job numbers. So a lot of big news this week. So ADP is always the first to report. They came in showing only 62,000 jobs created. Now that's not great, especially when they were expecting 120,000 jobs. So that really missed the mark. In addition, the JOLTS report, which is a measure of job openings, that missed the mark by about 300,000 jobs. So everything's pointing towards a cooler labor market. And then comes the Bureau of Labor Statistics, who blows their numbers out of the water. So they came in with an expectation of 130,000. A lot of people thought that they would miss that mark because ADP report was so low. But lo and behold, the Bureau came out with 177,000 jobs created last month. Now, of course, I question it, and I would assume it's going to be revised lower because they also revised February and March down by 58,000 jobs. So just the pattern continues. They keep on giving us these big numbers and then quietly revising them lower later. But for now, that's an interesting take going into the weekend because the Fed meets next week and all the economic data was pointing towards a slowdown, which should sort of force the Fed's hand to lower interest rates to kind of spur some activity. Plus inflation's coming down the closest it's been to that 2% goal. So all eyes are going to be on the Fed next week and what they are going to do. I want to point out, because my last video we talked about Liberation Day and the effect that it was having on the stock market, and I thought, hey, calm down, it's going to recover. And lo and behold, it has. All 3 major indexes are virtually back where they were just before Liberation Day took effect. So we've recovered these massive losses we were seeing. The markets are calming down and hopefully we're on the right path. I know that's up for debate, and depending on kind of which news source you probably watch. But at the end of the day, it is moving in the right direction. The economy is holding firm. So again, we'll have to wait and see what the Fed does next week. So as far as your prospects of owning a home, I want to point one last thing out, and that is that Case-Shiller, which is known as the gold standard for home values, has said that home prices year over year are up 3.9%. Now that's only through February, so keep in mind the hottest market comes in spring. So we are in that right now, which should increase that number a little bit more going forward. So in real estate is still one of the best investments you can make with your money. If you'd like to get into that opportunity, would love the opportunity to speak with you. So as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.